It is time for Senior Talk, which is brought to you by Tammy Rao Senior Benefits, Windmill Manor in Coralville, and the Solon American Legion. And here's your host, Rex Brandstatter.
Well, I thank you, Tommy. Hi, this is Rex Brandstatter, and it is time for Senior Talk on such a beautiful, beautiful March 1st day, in like a lamb. I think that's the old saying, in like a lamb and stay like a lamb until next December. Wait, maybe I made that up. I'm not sure. But it's coming in like a lamb. We'll take it. We take every day we can get as we march forward. Remember, stay with me, folks. We've already, quote, got January and February behind us now, and we're marching towards spring. That's the deal. Today is, as they say, meteorologically speaking, the first day of spring. Meteorologically speaking, that's what the Mace would say, and think people like that. Today's the first day of meteorological spring. So, welcome to Meteorological Spring Day on March 1st. Thank you for joining me, and welcome to Senior Talk. Certainly don't need to be a senior to join in, as we just might talk about something that helps you or your family, your friends along the way, and that's what we're here to try to do every week. So grab yourself a sandwich and an ice cold root beer, and let's see what we can stir up this week. Hello, and thank you for listening to Senior Talk. You know, it's not easy being a senior. We always think about we've got health issues, good or bad or pending, or it's always on our mind. Trust me, every day. Retirement, when to retire, why did I retire? Maybe I don't want to be retired. Maybe I'm semi-retired. I'm going to work part-time. All those things we have income or lack thereof, financial issues. Those aren't fun. In fact, we don't even hardly talk to each other when we have those expenses. Always have those for sure. Family problems, maybe issues, living arrangements, house is too big, or we need to move out of town, or mom can't stay in the house anymore. All these things cook and pop up when we're seniors. So all those things, rather than when we were younger, we thought about vacations and the family and going to activities and things like that. Things change. It's called Time Marches On in my book. Well, listen, my name is Rex Brandstatter. I'm 73 years old, and I've been a licensed Iowa real estate broker since 1974. 1974. And I work mainly with seniors, friends, senior families. In the event you would like to talk about real estate, or, house is too big, the washer dryer's on the second floor, and mom can't go up the second floor anymore. Doctor says, Dad, not supposed to go down in the basement, do things like that. Your house hasn't changed, but you have. Though we talk about those things all the time. You can give me a call on my senior line at 319-330-5534. 330-5534. We'll see if I can't help you. Now, if you think, gee, I need somebody to help me build a deck, I've got garage door doesn't work right. I had a garage door call last week. I have all kinds of calls. Give me a call, and I'll see if I can find someone to help you. One of my own tenants in one of my own properties came in and said he had a problem, so I have to call somebody on my own to help me fix a little problem over there. So it is what it is, and anytime you have real estate involved, that the thing about real estate for seniors is, we didn't get in this position of maybe having to make a change. We didn't have that get it usually overnight. Now, there are health issues maybe, or accidents that cause you to have to make a change quicker than you thought. So there's not exactly any hurry, but if you'd like to talk about that, we can meet at your home, my office, coffee shop, wherever you'd like to do that, for sure. So that's how we do it, and I thank you so much for thinking of me when you have issues like that. So I don't know how we can possibly top the wild and crazy things that took place at Carver Arena and down south over the weekend. I don't know what to tell you. That game against Michigan State on Saturday was the wild and craziest thing. Did you know that Iowa scored 23 points in a minute and 32 seconds? 23 points. You really can't do that. The sports announcers on the TV were just going nuts after I saw the replays after we got home. I can't believe it. What happened here? They just didn't believe it. And then the women, with Caitlin Clark hitting that shot at the buzzer, and then quite honestly, last night was, well, that didn't over the weekend. Well, last night, big basketball win at Indiana. And the Iowa baseball team, they're going to get back in action already. I think they're 7-1 already, I think. And they beat number 1 ranked Louisiana State. And good for them, Rick Heller and the guys. Can't wait to get over there. They had a game last night, and my friend Tommy here at the station was there last night. he said it was a little nippy around the edges, as it is so many times in spring baseball. You have to dress for the occasion. Trust me for that. Well, it was just so much fun. We've got some wonderful, wonderful young athletes here. Let's see what happens here as we go forward into the tournament. So it says here that that Caitlin Clark, on her cell phone, she got a text from George Kittle, Patrick Mahomes, and Tony Ramos, the retired Dallas Cowboy quarterback and NFL commentator. He's the best, in my opinion. Somebody put up copies of those people who sent her text like "way to go" or "wow" or things like that. So she's sort of in the fast lane. Trust me, she is in the fast lane on that. And I read this week, she said she might play next year for sure, and then a COVID year, 2 more years. I can't imagine that would actually end up happening, but more power to her. It's her life and her future. Well, I have news that a longtime friend of mine had a heart transplant. I didn't say a heart attack. I didn't say heart issue. A heart transplant. Now, that is major league stuff. So, my friend, Big D, take care of yourself, you and your wife. Fingers crossed, we're all out here praying for you and hope you're doing good. It's been a week and a half out. And take care, my friend. Lots of people. I can send some other people I know with heart transplant. They're heart transplantees right here in town. And go to it. Hang in there, pal, for sure. All right. A senior friend advises that his friend is dealing with sight issues, S-I-G-H-T, sight issues. Well, that's not good. This is your sight. This is, I always thought if you lost a leg, you can have to adjust, but you can still go about your business. You could lose a finger or a hand or something like that, and after an adjustment period, and in today's prosthetic, you can go about your business. And you lose your eyesight, you can go about your business, but you're pretty limited in where you can go. I guess I'm not trying to pick on people who can't see. It's just hard. It'd be extremely hard. Case in point, my dad had a stroke when he was about 70, a little younger than me, and it took his right eye, and he was a little droopy on the right side of his face when he laughed or smiled. You could see that he had an issue. And the doctor told him, he sat Mom and Dad down over at the hospital over at the university and explained exactly what happened, showed him the big chart and things like that. And the doctor said, you are so lucky to still have sight in your other eye. Remember now, he lost his right eye, the sight. All right. And so he adjusted to one eye, and the doctor said he might want to wear a patch for a while. He did in the evenings. He put the patch on. He just he didn't want to be in public with it. I know people who wear them in public. That's their business. More power to him. He didn't want to do that, so at night he'd wear a patch once in a while. And then he decided he could go about his way. And everything was going fine until he was at a four-way stop sign. Stopped. Everything looked good, and he went forward and smashed into a car who stopped to the right and went forward. Well, he in order to look to the right, he didn't have any peripheral vision to the right, so he had to turn his head to the right, and he forgot, and he smashed into him. Of course, it was his fault. He said, I did it. I ran right into the side of that guy. I never saw him. Well, famous last words, I never saw him. Well, no, you never looked, you dumbhead. So then my dad said to me this. He says, Rex, he says, I'm 70 years old, and he says, I've been through everything, been to World War II, all these things. I don't know what I would have done at age 70 if I had gone blind. I wouldn't have been able to handle life. I don't know what I would have done. He said, I hate to tell you this, but I think I would have jumped in the car and gone down to the river and jumped in the river. I started laughing. He said, well, what are you laughing about? I said, well, if you were blind, you wouldn't even be able to get in the car and back out and drive down to the river to do that. He goes, God, I never thought about that. Why did I think about that? So I said, just keep going. If you wreck the car a little bit, no big deal. So I want you to do this. Eyesight is number one. Eyesight, without question, is number one. So I want you to consider, highly consider, an annual exam. Annual exam. I do the same thing. I want you to check your Medicare plan for coverage. Now, if you have depending on what kind of coverage you have, advanced coverage, things like that. The plan that I have, I can go get an eye exam every year, not a problem. I can get some money for eyeglasses every year, not a problem. And so I take advantage of that. I have an advantage plan, as a matter of fact. So I take advantage of that. So I want you to highly consider, well, Rex, I can see you just fine. Well, I'm not an eye doctor. I don't know anything about that. But as we get older, the number one thing that you would never want to lose would be your eyesight. So get signed up today and call somebody. Call me. I'll give you a couple of names of docs around town. And go get on an eyesight plan. Remember, we're seniors, so we've got to take care of our health, number one. Well, a senior lady tells me that she's doing some remodeling in her retirement condo. Now, if it's a condo, that's a little yellow flag up, not a red flag. I live in a condo. We live in a house, regular house, and nothing attached to it, and it's in a condo association. So the association we're in just mows the grass and shovels the snow. So she says she can remodel inside in her retirement condo. You can only do things inside when you're in the condo. You cannot go outside without the HOA approval. She said, I have one nice-sized bedroom and two small ones. So I'm having a guy take down the wall and make two little ones into a big one. Now, this happens all the time. So here you are in a well, I'm going to call it sometimes an older home in Iowa City. We'll just record wherever you live. And you have one fairly decent-sized master bedroom. We're going to call that primary bedroom, they're called these days. And two smaller ones. And for gosh sakes, this lady now lives by herself. She doesn't want three small bedrooms. She wants one for a big one and another nice size one. So I said to her, well, that's not a bad idea if it works for you. But I said, remember this, and this is true. The standard of the real estate industry is a three-bedroom home with three bedrooms on the main floor. All right, that's the standard of the industry. Now, as we get to be seniors, now we don't have that at our house. We have two bedrooms on the main floor. We have master bedroom on the main floor, and we have bedroom number two. And the master bedroom is very large, and the number two bedroom is really nice size. Okay, that works for us. We don't have no kids, anything, just two people living there. All right, that works for us. The standard of the industry, if you're going to resell your house and get the most money and the most attractive lookers and the highest appraisal, is three bedrooms on the main floor. But you buy a house, you build a house on what you want. So if you decide you want to build a home, you want to buy a home with two bedrooms, well, what do we do with the kids if they come home? Number one, you got bedroom number two, and number three, or C, maybe there's a lower level or a family room. They're going to stay with you for the weekend. With the two-bedroom home, you can either have bigger bedrooms and or the room that the square footage, maybe they make a dining space instead on a floor plan. It's really, really a good idea to consider that. Now, appraisers are narrow-minded, short-sighted. All realtors say that. Excuse me, narrow-minded on things, and they like three bedrooms on the main floor. So you might get docked, but don't worry about that. You live in your home exactly the way you want. So I told her, go for it, go to it. And I said, you realize that the house was built as per plans and specs from the condo. I'm sure you called them. And there was silence on the other end, and because most condominium associations don't say anything if you make changes on the inside. All right, that's kind of the rule. So she's doing a good job. Good. I said, do what works for you in your own home. She was kind of all excited to tell me that she made the big change, and I said, have at it, have a good time. Well, a senior man advises me that, quote, he cannot find the title to his car. He called me. And he says, I've looked everywhere, and he said, it's a no-go. And he said, I want to trade the car, and he said, I have to have the title. What do I do? So I gave him an idea or two, and a week later he called back, and he said, nope, it wasn't there. Nope, it wasn't in the lockbox. Nope, it wasn't in with my other paperwork. I don't know what to do. And I said, all right, here's what you have to do. Because you have to have a title in order to trade it of some sort. And here's what I advise him to do. If there are other ways to do it, you can call and tell me, but here was what I advise him to do. You could be in the same boat. Maybe you can't find the title to your motorcycle. Maybe you can't find the title to the trailer on your boat. Huh? Your camper trailer, maybe you can't find the title. You have to have a registration on those things, a title. So what you can do is this. You need to go down to the DVM office at the Johnson County Administration Building. That's the same office where you pay your taxes, your property taxes, by March 31st of this year, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget, this is the month you got to round up all the money to pay property taxes, pay the second half. So I said, go down to the Johnson County Treasurer's office, and as you go to the Treasurer's office, right next door on the main floor is the I call it the license plate office, and that's where you get the title, and you will get a replacement title. Now, before you go down there, I advise you to do this: take your cell phone if you have one, or a piece of paper, and write it down. The cell phone, you can take a picture of the VIN number. That's the vehicle identification number. They have to have that, or you might as well go jump in the river with my dad. All right, you have to have that VIN number. It's called. So in your dashboard. If you stand outside your car and look at the steering wheel from the outside on the driver's side, and then look down where the windshield meets the dashboard, you'll see the VIN number on newer cars, anything after the 60s generally. That's where the VIN number is, and it'll be a big long number with some letters in it, which it's got a code to it. That means depend on the make and brand. It tells you where it's made. You won't know that, but tell you where it's made, what month it was made, the year. Sometimes the paint colors on there, all kinds of stuff like that. But anyhow, take that down there. That's what you'll do. And then you'll have to fill out the standard stuff. They'll treat you like you're been on Mars and ask you 1,000 questions. But that's what you have to do to get a replacement title. And I don't know what the cost is. I honestly don't. My guess is it's minimum $25 because they got to do all this baloney because you can't find your title. So you're going to have to pay a little problem there. I don't think it's 25 or 35, along in there somewhere, okay? And so get on that. Now, you don't know where it is for right now, when you're, not now, but when Senior Talk is over, you need to go try to find it. Well, I think it's over there. Now, if you have to use the word, I think the title to the cars, I think the titles to the cars are in that drawer, then that means you don't know. So don't use the word I think. We don't allow that in our house. I think it's, you have to go look for it. So that's the deal. You have to go look for the titles of your car. All right, a senior couple tells me, quote, here's what they said. We paid off our house after all these years. We can't believe it's been 30 years. Now no house payment. And I said, good for you. And the lady said, we now have an extra $645, because they lived there 30 years, $645 that we don't have to spend on the house. Good for you. And end of the phone conversation. Well, in all honesty, I wish I had talked to them on the first day when they got their new mortgage, because I would have told them this. Here's what I would have said. If I'd have been their real estate agent at the time, and we would have closed at a local bank, local lender, I would have said, oh, you have a 30-year mortgage, a 30-year fixed rate. That's what everybody wants back when you have a mortgage, all right? I would have said this to them. Here's the deal. 30 years, if you paid for 30 years, it'll take you 30 years to pay it off. If you take the plan that I suggest you do, you can beat 7 to 8 years off that. How do you do that, Rex? And the bankers just roll their eyes. But the bankers won't tell you this, but they don't care if you do. They should tell you, but they won't. If you make one extra payment a year, and I always tell people, if you get money back on your taxes, and say these people got $1,000 back, if they just sent in once a year an extra payment, say they got it back in April, they just send in their regular house payment and send another payment with them, either another check or a double payment, and put a note on there. One is for the principal, one's your house payment, and the other one is to go towards the principal. They would have lopped 8 years off that. So they would have had this big party that they don't have a mortgage 8 years ago. Well, in 8 years, if you figure out that you paid one extra a month for 12 years and lopped off 8 years, you do the math. That's why bankers won't take, because they make money off the interest. And I was just trying to tell the homeowner how good way to save money. So more power to you if you're cranking away on your 30-year mortgage and you've got 26 years, or you got 4 years left to go. You've missed a good opportunity, and that's where this comes under the Department of. Ladies and gentlemen, seniors and younger people especially listening, you need to take some time to sit down and analyze what you have. You have insurance payments, maybe you have a car payment, maybe you have a house payment. different things like that. Analyze what you have. You've got a 401k, you've got some savings. Sit down and do your own financial statement. If you've never made out a financial statement for a bank to borrow money, or maybe to get a mortgage to build a house or things like that, you need to do that. And I have some forms, or you can call your banker. They go down there, they'll give you a financial statement. And you sit down and figure it out. Stocks and bonds, IRAs, all those things. You take an accountability, you take account of what you have. And until you do that, you're just kind of free ranging, roaming around. Well, we could have done that. Gee, I wish I'd known about the mortgage sooner. Well, if you would sit down with some people, they'll explain these things to you. And when I learned about that many years ago, we started sending payments. 20 years, 25 years, a long time ago, more longer than that. We started sending extra payments in on properties that we own, and they're all paid for. And I beat the bank out lots and lots of interest money, and they don't care. That's fine with them. But I just felt so bad after I talked to these people that they cranked it out for 30 years. Had they just sent in one payment a year, all those years, they would have saved a whole truckload of interest. So get with it. To go talk to your banker. They'll tell you what to do. They'll tell you how to do it. There's programs out there you can pay on the 1st and 15th of every month. You can do that. All kinds of neat programs, all designed to save you a lot of interest in the end. Well, a senior lady told me, get this. This one really got me. Our granddaughter graduated from college a year ago. And my husband and I, agreed to loan her $10,000 to buy a nice, good used car so she could go get a job and go to interviews and things like that. We all agreed that once she graduated, they never said this was in writing, by the way, because after all, it's her granddaughter. Who would have to put it in writing? We all agreed, meaning she and her husband and the granddaughter and the granddaughter's our parents, we all agreed that once she got a job and got, quote, settled, that she could start making some payments. And they were nominal payments. We decided to make the payments pretty easy, $100 a month. And then the grandma always said, we also figured that if she made the payments for a year, we just made payments for a year and started looking like she's responsible, we'd call her up on the phone, have her come to the house and say, guess what, we're going to tear up this loan agreement here. Well, guess what? The daughter did graduate from college. The daughter did get a job, and a year ago, and the granddaughter hasn't once come over with a payment. So now Grandma is thinking, well, what are we going to do? What would we look like bad guys for doing this? That was the agreement. And so I said to her, I understand why you didn't get it in writing, because it's your granddaughter. It's a family. Had the big meeting. Yep. And the parents were there. Yep. The grandparents were there. Yep. The granddaughter was there. Yep. And now no payment. Well, in my opinion, you do not go to the parents. Now, I don't have any kids, so I could be out in left field. You can throw me over the bridge here, too. You deal with the granddaughter. You take the middleman, her parents, out of the equation. You didn't loan the money to them. I know they all agreed to it, but they didn't sign anything. They're not co-signing. You meet with the granddaughter. Maybe there's a circumstance that you don't know about. Maybe she's has a job, but she's on probation, and she really won't know if she has the job for a long time, cemented for another 6 months or something. You just don't know. So it's not that maybe she doesn't want to make these payments, maybe, and not that she can't. It's just that she needs to make sure that she doesn't get herself in jeopardy here. Now, that call should come from the granddaughter, not from Grandma. Don't you see? Sure you do. That call should come from the granddaughter. Grandma and Grandpa, I need to talk to you about something. Guess what? I've graduated college. Got the car. Thank you very much. I've got a job. And in 6 months, I'm no longer on probation. Then I'd like to start making those payments. Get this? They get this? I said, I'd like to start making those payments. Not like, then I have to start making a payment. It's a different attitude, I guess, from where I come from, okay? Now, if I had done this and not communicated with my dad, I would have been jumping in the river with him. I'd have been thrown in the river with him. I was just different at different times, okay? So I said to Grandma, she should call you. Don't talk to her parents. You call the granddaughter. You have a talk with her. And I wouldn't even call her. Invite her over and sit her down. Say, here's what we kind of agreed to. And the way we're going to go, what is your plan? How's the plan been differentiated? What's cooking here? That's what needed it. So That's what's going to happen. They're going to wait till warm weather. That's a catch-all. We'll wait till after Christmas. We'll wait till it warms up. But so be it. They're grandparents, and they gave the money away. They're not worried. You can see they're not worried about the money because they were going to dismiss the payments after a year, and away we go. So the lady said, "Now what should we do?" And I said, "You call your granddaughter, get her to the house." All right. Here's some stuff for you. This is pretty interesting here. I just heard this the other day, so I wrote it down, and I think you should. In 2022, 33,000 Iowans moved out of our borders. 33,000 people. I can't imagine that we lost that many. That'd be like standing at the bridge over the Quad Cities and watching 33,000 people drive by. Now that pales in comparison to how many leave Illinois and New Jersey. Those are the biggest two states. California right now is what they call an exit state. New Jersey is the number 1 exit state. Illinois is the number 2 exit state. California is the number 3 exit state. Amazing. So 33,000 people lost their minds and moved out of Iowa. Well, guess where most of them went? And I know well, Rex, you big dummy. They went to California. They went to Florida. Everybody's going to Arizona. They went to North Carolina. All those things. Well, here's where the survey says they went. This is a moving company survey, by the way. Number 1 site that they left Iowa for, if I'm lying, I'm dying, Illinois. Now, apparently these people didn't review the tax situation in Illinois, the sales tax, permission, the property tax. Number 2 is Nebraska. They went west, young man, westward ho. They went to Nebraska. Number 3, they went down south to Missouri. Number 4 was Wisconsin. And number 5 was Minnesota, land of 10,000 lakes and mosquitoes as big as B-52 bombers. That's where they went. They went to our border states, the majority of, not all 33,000, but that's where said most of them went. So we'll call that half or better. We'll call that 20,000. 20,000 people went to number 1, Illinois, number 2, Nebraska, number 3, Missouri, number 4, Wisconsin, number 5, Minnesota. All are great states, no question about that. I guess I hadn't put those in my move to states. I'm not sure I would do that. I'll go up to Wisconsin in the summer and fish, Minnesota too. The rest of them I don't know about it, but these people, anyhow, I wouldn't have guessed that. I don't think you would have either. In 2022, 65%, so we'll call it 2/3 of Americans 24 and over. 2/3 of Americans 24 and older made more appointments for their car care than appointments for their own health care. So you're taking better care of your car than you are yourself. And as a 73-year-old man, I can tell you if it ain't, here's men's theories, by the way. Men's theories 101. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, I don't need to see a dentist. My teeth are fine. I don't need to go to the ear doctor. My hearing is fine. Not according to my wife. I can't hear anything. I don't pay attention to anything she says. But according to me, my hearing's fine. Well, I had an hearing test. It's not fine. I'm not ready for age yet, but getting there probably. Eyesight, fine. Everything is fine. So 2/3 of Americans 24 and over make more time for a car checkup than they do themselves, which leads me, here's Rex's suggestion. You don't have to be a doctor to take blood pressure. So maybe your mechanic can check your oil in your car and check your blood pressure. How's that sound? So if now you see mechanics around town advertising car care and blood pressure, you'll know they've been listening to Senior Talk. And I know my mechanic, he's going to call me and say, come down. He'll call me this afternoon and say, come on down, I'll check your blood pressure. I guarantee you he'll call he'll call me. Why now? Why wouldn't you want to do that? I'll bring a little story. I've had a couple calls in 30 days on some things, and here's what it is. You might be old or a baby boomer or over the hill or classified as had it. You've had it. in life, if you do these things, if you can say yes or qualify to these things, you're going to think this is crazy. But this is the list, ladies and gentlemen. You shop at a mall, a store, instead of online. You are old-fashioned, old world. You're not with it because you go to the mall or shop at a bricks-and-mortar store. I prefer to do that. If you use catalogs, Land's End will go out of business. Orvis will go out of business if they can't send you catalogs, for God's sakes. If you use cable TV and streaming, oh, I don't understand that. I have cable TV. Why would you be out of it? Well, because you're supposed to use your computer. If you write checks to stores and pay bills via check. I do. As a matter of fact, I gave you another one. I ordered football tickets yesterday, Iowa football tickets yesterday, and I said, don't forget, I want paper tickets now on my telephone. The guy started laughing. He said, I know, you're probably an older guy, right? I said, yeah, I am. He said, we understand that. So I get paper tickets to go to Iowa games. And our rule is if you're not going to sell me a paper ticket, I'm not going to buy the ticket, I'm not going to go. And so because everything was going fine with paper tickets for 100 years, and now they decided you have to get it on an app on your phone. I'm not doing that, never will. They say you have to do that. I'm a former attendee at games. I'll just listen or watch on TV. All right, so if you write checks. Now, here's one that I can absolutely attest to. It says if you carry a briefcase for business, if you carry a briefcase. Excuse me, I went to a meeting a couple weeks ago with an insurance man. We were reviewing insurance on some buildings that I had. And I wanted a briefcase that had a bunch of files in there. He says, oh, I see you're going old school. And I looked around and I said, old school? What's old school? He says, the briefcase. I said, well, how else would I get the stuff here? Well, you'd scan it and send it all here to me on my computer so I can look at it. So I'm old school for carrying a briefcase. If you wear socks with sandals, you're out of it. I've always kind of thought that. If you wear diamonds or a lot of jewelry, now the jewelry people who advertise here on KCJJ, they would dispute that, and I don't blame them. If you wear a lot of diamonds and or jewelry, you're old school. If your cell phone has a hip clip, you've got it on your belt, you are ancient. You're out of it. If you have China dishware. And here's one that hits me. If you have white New Balance tennis shoes. I have them. I wear them. My walking shoes. New Balance is a brand name. Got a big N on the side. I have them. I looked at my tennis shoes. I said, God, I've got New Balance shoes. I'm out of it. If you have phone books. I had a guy the other day tell me, where do I get a phone book? He was a senior. I said, you don't. Huh? Unfortunately, jean shorts. Jean shorts are out. You have to have the Tommy Hilfiger shorts or something. Jean shorts. Hawaiian shirts. Well, don't tell the people to Hawaii, or those just back. Home Shopping Network. If you're watching on TV, the Home Shopping Network and buying trinkets, all this stuff, you're out. Velcro shoes. I had a pair on yesterday. I did. All-you-can-eat buffet. Well, that's never going to be out. I don't know where I'd find one, but the cruises are out. Cruises are out. Knickknacks in the house. I'll bet a lot of you look around. Right now, look around and see you got salt and pepper collection. Those are knickknacks. Bar soap. I use bar soap every day in the shower. Bar soap is out. Entering sweepstakes are out. The 9-to-5 work week is out. Patterned wallpaper is out. And that should have been out years ago. We have a lot of issues with that in the real estate business. I've always said that wallpaper is like art. So you and I, we go to the art museum. And we stand there looking at a painting, and you love it. Absolutely the most beautiful painting you've ever seen. And I look at it and I go, what the hell is it? Okay, wallpaper is in the category of art to me. You like it, you put it in your house all you want. You go to sell your house, the next guy's going to go, what the heck is that? And you're going to have to replace it or take it out of there or take less of your house if you use wallpaper. So if you're looking around right now and you got a lot of wallpaper, so be it. It's your house. I don't care. But when you go to sell, you're going to have to take less money for your house, give them an allowance to remove it, or remove it in before you start on the work week. Get this, Mrs. Dash seasonings. I haven't used that since last night. Potpourri in your house. Potpourri is questionable in my work. You go into a house and they have potpourri. I don't know what it is. I don't know if that means incense or candles, or I know potpourri's in a dish. If you have that in a real estate business, it means you're trying to hide something. Smoking smell, pets, pet urine. That's what that thing. Ironing. Well, what else are you supposed to do? My wife runs a company at home. We call it central ironing. You put things in the closet, hang them in there when you want it ironed, and she irons it when central ironing is open. And central ironing is not open very often. So sometimes you put a shirt in there in the spring, and it comes out in the fall, and you go, God, I forgot where that shirt was. I never knew. It was in central ironing for 3 months. So be it. Word art on walls. Live long, live well. Word art on walls is out. And get this, and maybe I said this one, I did. If you pay your bills with checks and use the U.S. mail, folks, you are over the hill. You've had it. You're not of the new age like the young, hip to the scene people. Sorry to tell you all these things, that you've had it. You probably won't make it back next week. You've had it. You're over the hill. So heck with this report. Do everything you want the way you like to do it, and in the meantime, do this. I want you to highly consider, not just consider, this Friday night. I want you to think about going to the Solon American Legion or the Coralville American Legion on the Coralville Strip, and the Solon American Legion. My friends up in Solon, my good friends in the Coralville American Legion. Support the veterans, support the people of the auxiliaries, and go in there for the fish dinners, the Friday night fish. They're working their fannies off so they can support the veterans and those men and women who work so hard to protect our freedom. The least we could do is during Lent season on a Friday night, go to the Coralville American Legion or the Solon American Legion or the Iowa City American Legion and have a nice fish dinner. Why not? Do it. You'll be glad you did. You get a good meal and you feel glad you did it. So I'll look for you at one of those legions on Friday night. I'll be there at one of them for sure. And why don't you go in there and enjoy yourself, take some friends and enjoy it, and have at it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a big weekend coming up for the Hawks. I want you to cheer loudly and cheer often for the Iowa Hawkeyes. We'll see you at Carver on Sunday afternoon. And get this. Go Hawks. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. So long.
Are you retiring and